The real estate industry is going to change forever starting in July. What is already a business where 80% of agents fail is probably going to increase and get significantly harder. Of all the agents that are licensed right now, I would expect probably half will drop out of the business within a year and a half. With sellers no longer being required to pay the buyer's agent, you are going to see a lot of people who are in the business for short-term gains drop out immediately. Because if a house was listed for $1 million, previously the seller was going to pay 2 or 3% of the purchase price to the buyer's agent, and that is no longer going to happen. So every single agent who was just there to open doors and answer phone calls, not do any negotiations, they are going to find it extremely difficult to be successful in this business, and they will absolutely be dropping out. But the agents who still provide value, have a large client base, will probably continue to thrive.
Okay, well, yeah, so what he's referring to is there was a series of lawsuits actually suggesting that realtors and real estate agents were colluding and that buyers didn't have any opportunity to negotiate. The sellers were basically pre-agreeing to split with the buyer's agents an amount, and the buyers had no say in that or no control over how much commission they were paying, and that somehow this was driving up the cost of real estate and homes. And so the Realtors Association and local realty companies all got involved in this big class action lawsuit, and the ultimate ruling is yes, they were colluding, and no, they had to, couldn't do that. They had to change their practices somewhat. And now what he's suggesting is that this is the end of buyer's agents. I don't know if it's going to be that extreme. I think there have always been people trying to cut down on the 5 or 6% real estate fees that are sort of traditional in the industry. But if you ever bought a house, it's a little bit intimidating and it's a little bit complicated. And although you probably could get through it on your own, I think a lot of people like the comfort of having somebody to rely on to help them with the process. So maybe that 5 or 6% isn't right anymore. As houses get more and more expensive, that no longer equates to a fair amount to pay for the value of that aid in the transaction. But I would be surprised if the process totally goes away, or all of a sudden buyers are just fine to, act as their own agents or not have an agent at all in the process. I think there's just too much going on in that's going to be intimidating. So what fills the space remains to be seen, or exactly how much this shakes out remains to be seen. But I don't think it's going to completely go away. It may transform a little. Prices may come down a little, but I don't think it's suddenly the case that, all these hundreds of thousands of real estate agents are going to suddenly starve to death because they don't have a business anymore.